Hello, everyone. Hopefully your day is going well. It is 11:30 and welcome to another Lunch and Learn done by Paperless. Today's topic is pick to ship and our quick agenda. We only have 30 minutes here, so we'll be very brief and on point. Our agenda is to kind of, talk about the launching of pick to ship, and then we were going to go over some kind of common problems that pick to ship solves, do a quick comparison between XA's picking process and the new paperless pick to ship process, then kind of walk you through the workflow of how the data and information is flowing as well as presented and recorded. And then we'll go through a brief live presentation of the application. So first off, just talking about this pick to ship and launching, it is a new product. It's meaning that we just launched it in September of 23. Oh, there, I saw my screen blink. I apologize for that. We launched it in September of 23, but the product has really been around for, actually, it's probably going on 8 or 9 years, probably at least 6 years in the field with customers. So it's not by any means a new product that actually has not been tested. It's been out there for 6+ years with many customers. What we did internally here by launching it as a product now is we brought it into our normal development architecture and platform and cycle. What that means is that it's going to go into our weekly and bi-weekly sprints. It's going to have a roadmap, just like our rest of our products. It's going to go through our support desk like other products, rather than just kind of be a standalone one-off. We'll fix things for individual customers as we need to. So that means patches, regular patches and updates and upgrades will be done for pick to ship in the future, which is really exciting because, again, it's not going to be a one-off for a number of customers. And let's talk about the problem solved. I mean, I guess a little bit of a history of the pick to ship application is, we're obviously an XA affiliate, and we deal with a lot of XA customers, and we hear from customers, the demands and needs that they have, and they wish they could do something. So they've, hired us to kind of tweak some things here and there. And all over time, we hear about all these problems. We say, all right, let's help our customers solve these. And some of just the biggest problems that we've heard is that, you have a paper solution in the XA format, which means I'm printing out pick lists out there, sending them out to the floor. Things get written on, sometimes they get lost, et cetera. Obviously, room for error and room for not timely information. The other issue is that you cannot assign picks. I mean, and the picking assignment today is done in a manual method rather than kind of an electronic method. And then a really important one is real-time information. You don't have updates, for what is being done on the floor when that piece of paper was handed out there. And then all these activities are integrated, to each other as far as assignment and the picking process and the status and everything else, but as well as integrated to your XA application. Some of the additional problems is it helps eliminate the picking and shipping errors that are very, very common. And two of the most common ones that we hear is that we have shipped or picked the wrong product and we sent it to our customer. And another one is quantity. So we've picked the wrong quantity and we sent the wrong quantity to a customer. It would be nice to validate and verify that what we're picking and is matching the customer order. Inaccurate inventory. Now, as you can see from the number one, if we pick the wrong item and we pick the wrong quantity, that leads us down the path of having inaccurate inventory. So if we can have a front end on top of this where we can help verify and make it more accurate that you're picking what you're supposed to be picking, you're picking it from where you're supposed to be picking it, as well as the quantities, your inventory accuracy can obviously be improved. The next one is visibility. Again, that paper-based process, whoever has that piece of paper probably has the biggest visibility as far as what to pick, what they've picked, and where to go to next for their next item that they're actually going to pick off a shelf. So now we've given a lot of visibility. It says, all right, I can see, through a device, a PC or a tablet or something like that, I can see the status of a pick. I can see I've got 10 line items to pick here, and I can see that I've picked 3 of the 10 uh, and how many quantities I've picked and where I've picked them from, et cetera. So it gives you that real-time visibility of the status of the picking. And then on the operator side, the person who's actually performing the pick, you have visibility not only to the pick list, but also all the different locations that that item may exist in, which means that I can say, all right, I'm picking item 1102, and I can see I'm supposed to pick 20. I can see that I have 3 different locations with quantity on hand in each location. Well, I'm going to go to the location that can satisfy the 20 pieces that I need to pick. So some big value there. I mean, as you can see, that not only visibility for where items or what to pick, but also where items are, and that helps direct that employee to pick it from the most efficient spot. Which gets us into our next one is helping eliminate some of the inefficiencies. I kind of just mentioned a couple as far as picking the wrong parts and the wrong quantities, maybe from the wrong locations, et cetera. But it also can kind of help give you more of a guided pick, to be more efficient out there on the floor rather than, going to aisle 1, then aisle 5, back to aisle 1, over to aisle 3, back to aisle 1 again, which you can think about that little zigzag process. I just try to, give you a visibility to, you're going back and forth between the different aisles many times rather than just saying, hey, I'm going to go down aisle number 1 and I'm going to pick all the items on this pick list for aisle number 1. Then I'm going to go to aisle number 3 and pick all the items for that pick list that reside in aisle 3, et cetera, et cetera. So it really kind of improves your efficiencies for the picking process out there on the shop floor. What do our customers say? And we've got, like I said, a lot of customers that have been using this, like I said, over the course of it. At minimum, I'll be conservative in my statements here, but at least 6 years. Some have said that it helps reduce those inventory errors. The next one is reducing the time of overhead and for the entire shipping process. Again, you think about the shipping process to understand, A, I can assign something. B, I can actually track it. C, during the picking process, I can actually pick it and enter it in. I don't have to worry about that extra step for that paper process that will tell me, hey, you know what? You need to write it on a piece of paper. Someone needs to do data entry, et cetera. Payback is always huge. Return on investment is a big decision factor for anybody, right? And one of our customers gave us that they said in just months they've paid for not only the product but also the implementation of the product as well. Huge payback. And then the last one, it helped support the increase in business without really adding additional staff or devices, et cetera. So you can do more with less, which are huge things. I'm going to put out a poll question, launch a poll. Actually, I have to wait because the poll questions are multi-threaded. So I'll save those for the end. So going back over here, let's do a quick comparison between what XA has versus what paperless has. At XA, it's a very paper-based system. I mentioned that a couple of times. And now we've taken that paper-based systems and made it electronic, not only from the picking process, but also from the management process. Delayed information, right? Well, here we have real-time information and updates, which means that when you actually pick something from that handheld electronic device, it will actually update that pick list so you can see the status in real-time format. There's no guidance for picking inside of XA. We talked about that guided pick process where you can go down aisle 1 and pick all your items and then go down aisle 3, et cetera, et cetera. And you can there's different ways you can set that up. You can either pick it by location status or location, if you will, or you can also change that up and pick it by item. There's no doubt validation, which means there's, understanding the quantities, the items to pick and the locations to pick from. We've interjected validation and verification in paperless, which means that you're going to have them verify that they're picking the correct item that matches the item on the pick list. They're going to verify that they've picked it from the right location that they are saying they're picking it from. And then like batch lot is also verified as well. It's a manual entry process. I mean, someone has to write it on a piece of paper. Someone takes that piece of paper, brings it back to the office. Someone has to actually type that in. We've taken that all away, and it's an electronic process from giving the pick to a picker out on the floor, having them scan something and enter the quantity that they picked. That's all done electronically. There's no visibility in XA for that stuff. I think I mentioned that once or twice. Obviously, you have visibility inside of paperless. Then we have the assignment, which is an additional thing where I can actually assign picks to individuals. Maybe you have special people that you want to pick orders for certain customers because they're the most qualified to do that. You can actually do assignment of picks to people. Picking can be shared amongst multiple people. And then you also get a historical view and tracking for who picked what date, what was picked, et cetera, et cetera. Let's now kind of switch over and walk through the actual flow. So on the left-hand side here, we start out with XA. You're going to still use XA to generate your pick list. Your customer orders are still residing in XA. That information will be transferred down automatically to paperless, through our automatic synchronization process. And then inside of paperless, you'll be able to view all of those customer orders and those pick lists that are out there that need to be either assigned or managed, et cetera. And that's kind of from a management kind of tool. And then out on the floor, you'll have your mobile people that will get on their forklifts, et cetera, to go and pick the items. And again, you can assign it to a specific individual. They can generate labels for the items they've picked. But again, it's all being recorded real time. And then the last step is to kind of say, all right, what do I need to do before I ship this out? Maybe I need to add some special charges, add a carrier number, et cetera, et cetera. And now you're actually doing the shipment inside of the paperless application, which will send all that necessary information to XA, confirming the shipment is done, as well as generating all the necessary shipping documents that were expected, the bill lading, the invoice, et cetera. Let's take a quick peek now, just in my PowerPoint here, a quick peek at just kind of that management tool. So here's that management tool where I can see all the different pick lists that were out there. I can sort and filter and group these in a number of different ways to make it easier to work with. But the important thing is also I can take activities on these and see additional information. So my activities, I can assign them, I can unassign them, I can unlock things. And when we say unlock, when a picker is out there on the floor and they start, picking a line item, that line item is now locked, which means that, we're avoiding the situation where somebody else inadvertently takes the same pick list and starts picking it. And you can either lock the entire pick list or you can just lock that one line item. So there's a couple different ways to do that. And then on the floor, there's a lot of different device options, right? You can actually have users use PCs to enter or to see what needs to be picked and also enter the picking. You can have them use tablets. You can also have them use handheld mobile devices with built-in scanners. So a number of devices can be used out there on the floor. From the mobile picking process, here's the workflow for that, where you're going to start to say, all right, these are the assigned picks, or I can see all picks. That's kind of how you want to set up and run your shop, right? And then once I select one of the picks that I want to work with, the pick list that I want to work with, it's going to give me all the items that need to be picked out there. And then I select one of the items, and it's going to say, all right, here are your items. And this is where that verification and validation comes in. And again, you can turn a lot of different things on within paperless to say, I do require a item or an item to be verified, but maybe I don't want to verify the location or the batch lot. And of course, it respects all the rules inside of XA, whether or not that item is batch lot controlled or not. It will actually, prompt them to enter batch lot information, et cetera. So here's that. This is the key point of the picking process is really to help eliminate some of those common errors that occur that we've heard and seen with our customers so they can actually verify the item, the location, and the batch lot. And then when they're done, it's just going to give them a little status of confirmation that what they actually picked was correct and accurate. Okay, I'm going to now fill my PowerPoint and toggle over to the actual application. And I have two different views I'm going to look at. The first view is my management window, which I showed you before, which is this. And then we also have another view, which is the actual picking process. That's something that would be on that tablet device or that handheld device, right? And I'm just going to refresh my page, just going to say that I have just come in here brand new, and you can see there's actually this, let's get rid of this, get rid of my warehouse, and I'll get rid of my employee number here. So I have all these pick lists out there, right, for different warehouses, et cetera. And this is where you can, like I said, sort and filter, group a number of different ways. And I can just say, I want to see everything for warehouse 100. And maybe I just want to see everything that is currently assigned to Rick. So here's where it's going to bring up my list here of all of the pick lists that are out there that have been assigned to Rick. And you see there's a lot of them are different states, right, where I have this one is actually the pick is complete, and there's color coding up top that tells you whether the line is locked, the entire pick is complete, the line is completed, whether it's part of a kit or a kit component. There's a lot of different color coding that can happen here. So I can actually see there's a lot of items out here, and I can see different statuses. Rick has been assigned this pick list 621. I've actually started picking one line, but I did not start picking the other lines. That's a scenario where I've turned on my configuration not to lock the entire pick once I start picking it. Let's actually open this up here and say it's for anybody. And this is where I could say, well, maybe I want to take a pick list, 489 here, and this is where I want to assign it. I can actually take this pick list or just this line item, and I can now pick and choose who do I want to assign it to. And here's my Rick. I assign it to Rick, comes back, and now Rick is actually assigned that entire pick list. And it can be assigned to multiple people as well. So you can have multiple people picking the customer order at the exact same time. So here's where I can see on my pick list, and I'm going to go and go back to Rick here. So I'm going to show you the difference between my kits and my kit components as well. So if you scroll down, you'll see, some are actually brown and purple, right? And here's where I can see, or I've got kit components out here. So my line items, item number 1100, 1105, and 1106 are all part of a kit. And then my 1106 is just an individual item. So these are multiple things that exist out there. If I actually backed up a screen, you could see that purple line as well as that blue line. So you would see them all. In fact, let's just let's get rid of it here. There's my purple lines. So you'll see that this is a kit, and then there's components within that kit. So let's toggle over a little bit to the actual picking process here now. And I'm going to grab one of those items or not items, but those orders that were assigned to me, right? Then I can actually start picking one, right? And I'm just going to grab this one here. You can see here where it says, all right, here's the item you're supposed to pick, 1,000. I have my verify item on and my verify location. So my verify item is on, so I can just, scan in my item, because that's really what you would have people do on the floor. You're saying, I'm picking this item. I'm going to scan off that label, that item number. And I'm also going to scan off the label on the location for what to pick. It's not a batch lock controlled item. Quantity to pick is 2. I have on hand is 0. Probably should choose a different one. In fact, I'm going to back up because it does do partials as well. Let's grab this one. So I've got 102. There's my finished good. This one is actually batch lock controlled, right? And I have a pick quantity of 2, on hand quantity of 469. I can actually say that I want to pick 2 of these and say confirm. It automatically takes it and puts it to a staging location. And this is just part of the setup of the application. So under the covers or behind the scenes, what it's doing, it's actually relieving inventory from that location and putting it into that stage location. And then when we actually perform the shipping process, it's going to take everything for that pick list in that staging location and move it out and complete the shipment. So I can say confirm. Here's my confirmation that it was picked, so that's okay. I probably should have written down what line item I picked. I think it was 489. So if I go to my pick list, 489, you'll see here now that one line has turned blue. It's locked. If I look over on my status here, the quantity is 2, the quantity pick was 2, the quantity remaining is 0. That line status is now pick completed, which is great. Again, this is where you get that visibility for everything. And that same thing works for my components as well. So if I want to grab my 731 is a kit out there. So here you can see the pick list for 731 contains one regular item and then a kit item that has these components within that kit. And how does that appear to the operator out there on the floor? There's this way. So let's go over here and I'm going to grab 731. You can see here's my 731. Here's the kit. And then here are all the components as well. So if I actually take this kit here, you'll see there's my different components of 1100, 1105, and 1106. Again, walking through the same process I did before, saying, all right, where do I want to pick it from? You know, I enter in my quantities, etc. What do you do now when you're actually done with this, right? So I'm going to actually just say back on that one, and we'll come back here, and I'm not going to look at 731. Open that up, and I'm going to look at my item, my 487. It's another pick out there. And you can see here, by status here, these are all completed. Each line item has been completed. And this is where I can now come out and put in special charges if I want to. So I can add special charges, and you can create your own different types of special charges that you want to, include or be able to add in here. And I can say special charge, and maybe it's $1, right? Say add special charge. There it is. It's added. I can close that. Then if you want to, now I can say, all right, I'm going to go and perform the shipping process. And what it's going to do, it's going to let you do additional things, right? Actually, let me cancel this. Grab all of them and say ship. Excuse me. I had a little delay in my screen here. There we go. So this is where you can add in, carrier information. I can add in terms, IDs, instructions. I can edit special charges at this point in time, the shipping documents. And again, these you can override them here, or they can also be, automatically generated based on the requirements that you've set up in XA. And then again, when I hit this ship, now it's going to actually create those necessary transactions inside of XA to complete the whole picking and shipping process. Let's cancel out of this. Some of the other things that I have not talked about is, being able to reopen or unlock issues or undo things because, maybe somebody, locked an item and they were midway through it and they went home for the day, and now second shift comes in and they want to continue picking that order. You can unlock it from that initial person that was picking it and open it up for somebody new, and then now they can actually complete the picking process. Okay, with that, I'm going to open up. Are there any questions from the audience? There's one question I see here. I didn't talk about this as well, which was back ordering. It does handle back ordering. So if you do a partial, all right, if I have a line item out there for 10 pieces and I pick 5 pieces and complete the shipment, it will automatically take care of that back order. Another question that came in is regarding when you delete a pick list, does it get removed from paperless? Is there a sync schedule? Yes, there is. So when in the synchronization process, for adding, changing, or deleting, obviously, if you're adding a pick list or changing a pick list or deleting a pick list, that new change will come down to paperless. And the sync schedule is I think we have it. You can set it as low as like a couple of minutes if you want to, and it's going to sync every couple of minutes, and it's only going to sync the net changes, which means that anything that was added, anything that was deleted, anything that was changed will be put out there. Another question came in regarding, do you need to have the full MES suite in order to use pick to ship? And the answer to that is no, you do not. So if you're a customer that just wants to use the picking and shipping application, you don't want to use the MES production or inventory or Kanban or quality or anything else, you can still use the pick to ship application. Any other questions from the group? Okay, I'm going to release the poll question now. And there's just 4 questions. If you could just take, it literally probably takes about a minute or two to answer them. Just kind of getting a feel for, are you guys currently releasing paper out there on the shop floor for pickers to actually use to go out and pick their items that they have to do? Is it being recorded on that piece of paper, meaning that they're writing, I picked a quantity of 3 on this piece of, or on this item? Because I know some people also have handheld devices as well. That was the second question. Third question is just regarding the problems. I mean, do you guys have some of the problems that we've heard from our customer base where you're shipping wrong items or wrong quantities or lack of visibility for what's being picked, the inaccurate inventory issues? And then, ultimately, final question is whether or not you think the, electronic picking would help your company out from an efficiency standpoint, a cost standpoint, et cetera. I'm going to give it maybe another little while here. We've got probably about 8 or 9 participants have responded, which is about half of our audience. Meanwhile, there's additional questions out there. I'm going to answer those. The question came in about what type of scanners does it, because can it handle an Android scanner? Yes, it is. The picking application, if you saw on my screen, it's a web application, so it's browser based. So if your device can support a browser, you can use that in the picking process. So it doesn't have to be, an Apple device, doesn't have to be an Android device, could be, a device that can actually support a browser. Can this be integrated with an existing ERP software? Right now, the pick-to-ship application is integrated to the Infor XA suite. We, just like our other MES applications, can go outside and work with other ERP systems. We definitely entertain that. We haven't, to be fully honest, we don't have any customers outside of XA that is using pick-to-ship. It's kind of tightly tied to it. But I would be willing to investigate and see if we can help you out there. Okay, I don't see any more questions in the queue, and I'm going to end the poll and just kind of share results so you guys can maybe even see, the results that people are asking about. 80% obviously are using paper today. 80% are recording on the paper. 50% have issues with wrong items and wrong quantities, and obviously visibility. Inventory accuracy, that's pretty large out there. It's a critical piece in today's world. And then, electronic picking it out. So that's it. Concludes. We're at the top of the hour here. I appreciate everyone's time for joining our Pick to Ship session. Please join us for our next one, which is going to talk about machine integration, which means that we're going to talk in depth about things that you can do with integrating to your machine to get information. Rather than having human report activity, we're going to have machines or scanners or sensors report activities. Thank you again. Have a great day.